Lifters have 60 seconds once the bar is loaded to approach the bench, set up, unrack the bar, and wait for the start command. They can take a lift off from the spotting crew, or not, and they can also use bench blocks at various heights that raise their feet if their feet can't touch the ground. Each of 3 referees can give a white or a red light, and lifters need any 2 out of 3 white lights or better for a successful lift. Lifters have to keep their shoulders and butt in continuous contact with the bench pad, and their feet need to be flat on the floor. Once they unrack the bar and are motionless with locked elbows, they'll receive the start command to begin the bench press. They'll lower the bar down to their chest. As soon as the bar is motionless on their chest, they'll receive a press command, where they can fire the bar back up toward lockout. Once their elbows are locked and they're demonstrating control of the bar, they get one last command, a rack command, and the lift is done. The bench press is highly technical, and there are more reasons for a missed lift. A red card is given if the athlete never gets the bar down to their chest. A blue card is given if there is downward movement in the hole of the bar while they're trying to press the bar, or if they have bent elbows at the start or finish of the lift. A yellow card is given if they're heaving or sinking the bar after the press command, accidentally starting before the start command, pressing before the press command, or racking before the rack command. Yellow cards are also given if your butt comes off the bench, your feet come off the floor, or if you use your feet to anchor against the bench or bench supports. These are the rules of the bench press.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to San Antonio, Texas, presented by Texas Strength System San Antonio. Welcome to the USA Powerlifting Pro Series Finals 2024. We're on day 2, session 4. This is all equipped bench. Let me introduce you real quick. I am Alex Walters. I am the Indiana State Chair for USA Powerlifting, along with a member of the Executive Committee, and I am joined by
Dane Roach. I am a member of the Technical Committee, Category 1 referee, USAPL Senior National Coach, and will be State Chair of Michigan as of January 1.
Things are getting underway now, and the bar is loaded for the first attempt of the session. We're going to have Joy Mercer coming out, 42.5 kilos, 93 pounds. Taking her time getting the unrack with the spotter. Looking like a pretty solid opening attempt there from Joy. Equip bench is going to go a little bit slower than the bench-only session yesterday, and that's just the cause of the equipment.
I'm really looking forward today because this session and the next are both equipped to see their big weights yesterday. They're just going to get bigger today, and the additional variables that are going to be at play with them using the equipment and everything that will have to factor in there.
Looks like we've got the battle of the Joys to start off the session. Joy Black coming out, fellow executive committee member, opening up at 67.5 kilos. This session is a mix session, and with that I mean Masters and Open are both competing. Gets her start command. Controlled lower, fired off the chest. Looks like a pretty good opening attempt there for Joy. 3 white lights.
You got Heather Foss as chief referee on executive committee giving commands to Joy, also on the executive committee.
I think we have 4 EC members here. You can probably hear Gino a little bit. Out comes Elizabeth Richardson, opening with 97.5 kilos. She is the mother, I believe, of Natalie Richardson, who won the Raw bench only yesterday.
Yes, she just competed yesterday.
And is competing in just a few lifters. Pretty solid looking opening attempt there for Elizabeth. She gets 3 white lights. The bar is going to move up now to 125 kilos, 275 pounds. Opening attempt for Robert Evans. Robert getting the handoff from the spotter. Shout out to the UTSA boys. Been here all weekend. Took a little second to get the rack command there. It looked like his right elbow wasn't fully locked.
It looks like the chief referee did call him on that. It could have been at the start or the finish. Not totally sure, but since the side referees did put their arms down, she's required to give the start command and let the lift proceed.
And that was one of the first benches we've seen with the shirt where it took a moment to actually get to the touch. The shirt, it's so tight, they actually kind of have to row it into their chest to get that touch and allow the shirt to fly it off.
That's part of the reason why the rack command was so delayed. I think Heather was waiting to try to give him a chance to get that elbow locked, and once it just wasn't moving any longer, lift is done, she gave the rack command.
Bar jumps up once again, 155 kilos, 342-ish pounds. Opening attempt, Maxwell Mercer. Gets the liftoff and the start command. Very smooth.
Very smooth. Very, very smooth. Strong lockout. Now here's Natalie.
It's kind of funny. There's a rule where a coach is not allowed to help somebody onto the bench, but I don't think there's anything that says Gino can't help them off.
Nah, it doesn't specify anything about Gino. It sure doesn't. That's for sure. We got Natalie here. Elizabeth was just a few attempts ago. So.
Thank you, Gino.
160 kilo opener, 352 pound opener for Natalie here. Weighed in just under 75 kilos, just under 165 pounds.
No, you were looking at her mom. Natalie weighed in at 81.
Richardson's, you know.
A little bit slower. I think she's going to get that one, though. 2-1 she does.
I imagine the left side probably called blue card for downward movement. It was definitely close. Let's see on the replay if we can see any here.
Kind of froze halfway up. Yeah, there's a little bit.
I can see what he called for sure, yep. I do think it dipped a little bit, although especially with equipped, sometimes the bar will come to a stop so fast that it looks like it dipped down when it actually just stopped. But.
And perspectives are different, right? Like the chief referee and the right-hand referee, they might have seen it slightly different, not seen that.
Right. And if they're not sure, benefit of the doubt goes to the lifter. So you're not sure if it came to a stop or dipped. You have to throw the white light. Looks like Alicia Webb, who just competed yesterday in the Masters Pro Finals, and I believe she's competing tonight, if I read correctly, in the equipped finals as well, full power.
Busy weekend.
Trying to make that money.
Got a pretty good shot at it, opening up at 165 kilos, 364 pounds.
Off to a good start, it looks like.
Yeah, that looked like a really good opening. With equipped, I imagine the jumps are going to be a little bit bigger than what we're used to seeing with raw, but I am seeing a bunch of fives still in there.
Yeah, especially with bench only. Often you might be conservative from first to second because you may count on your competitors missing. And then that way you have an attempt locked in, and they have to take a bigger risk and potentially jump again.
And then, of course, some people are competing in multiple sessions.
Correct.
So Alicia here probably just trying to hit what she needs to climb up in the payouts, but also conserve energy for tonight.
Yep, because she's got 3 more benches she has to do tonight, not to mention squats and deadlifts.
Now we've got Brian Scott opening 195. Elected to get no lift off. That was the fastest attempt we've had so far. 3 white lights. Next lifter coming up is a familiar face at a lot of these events. 197.5 kilos on the bar. Opening attempt for Gary Pamplin. I think I've given him a handoff before.
Yeah, he's at almost every equipped meet that I've been to, and raw I think as well, if I'm remembering correctly.
More of these events that you end up going to, you see a lot of the same faces. Gary's definitely one of them. Slow and controlled to the chest, and that flew. 3 white lights for Gary. So far, so good. I'm going to refrain from doing any of the commentators' curse. I was called out for that a few times yesterday.
Like we got Carlo. Carlo's from Michigan. Very experienced lifter as well. Very experienced equipped lifter.
I didn't know that he was equipped. I feel like every time I've seen Carlo lift, it was always just raw.
Yeah, he's done some local meets raw. But I know that he definitely started off and has a lot of experience and has competed internationally, but previously equipped as well.
210 kilos, 463. Going down controlled. Just not quite there on the opener. I got to imagine if he's opening with 210, that's one he's comfortable with, so likely just a misgroove.
Yeah, it looked like toward the bottom he might have dumped it forward just a hair, but it's hard to tell from my angle. But I don't know if he got out of the groove there or if it's just one of those where, he needs another crack at it.
On the replay, it looked like he kind of called for them to take it a little early. It looked like it got out over his face. Going up just a little bit, 215 kilos, the opening attempt for Alex Smith. Really good opening attempt there. It's going to be 3 white lights there for Alex.
It's like being coached by Michael Haffenbrack. So not surprised that his opener moved like that. Mike's a very experienced, very knowledgeable coach.
One of the coaches of the year, I believe, right?
Brother Bennett, I think it was.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I get the awards confused. Barr is taking a hefty jump up to 260 kilos, 573 pounds. The opening attempt for Nick Benarakis. When I think of equipped lifting, I think of setups like this, where you're having to fight the suit, or excuse me, the shirt to get into position.
Yep. Taking your time to make sure you're exactly where you need to be, which is always important, obviously, but it becomes even more important when you're working with the bench shirt. Got about 10 seconds left on the clock here.
Moved a little bit slow, but it is 260 kilos, and he gets 3 white lights. Very in control of it. I think it might have just been the way the shirt was sitting on him. I wasn't convinced his elbows were locked at the commencement. But he did get the start command and got 3 white lights.
Tim Anderson coming up here, Midland University, their head coach.
$265 on the bar for Tim, $584. It's another guy I've seen at a lot of meets.
Yeah, Tim has been doing this a long time.
Usually I don't see him lifting, though. Usually I see him stressed out coaching. Nothing stressful about that lift. 3 white lights for the opener for Tim Anderson. Bar is going to remain the same, and we're going to see another familiar face. 265 kilos, the opening attempt for Preston Savoy Jr. Just competed in the Raw bench finals yesterday. I think Preston's best bench in a shirt is 285 that he did earlier this year at Bench Nationals.
That same bench nationals, I believe he competed raw bench, equipped bench, and then full power equipped.
Very good looking opener for Preston. And with that, I think we only had 1 miss through the first round. As we take it back around, 45 kilos going to go on the bar. UTSA boys getting us set up. Second attempt now for Joy Mercer. Up just 2.5 kilos from her opening attempt. Second attempt moved just as well as the opener did. 3 white lights there for Joy. Now we have a 5 kilo jump. Second attempt for the other Joy, Joy Black. $160 or so pounds. Joy taking her time, letting the spotter know how she wants the handoff. Taking maybe a little bit too much time right here. She's down to 18 seconds.
She got it close last time too and got a command. So
with equipped it makes sense, but in raw it definitely worries me. So with about 6 seconds left. A little slower through the middle of the lift, but 3 white lights there for Joy. 2 for 2.
A little slow down, but nothing technically wrong with it in terms of any infractions. So good lift.
Another 5 kilo increase. This time for Elizabeth Richardson. 225 pounds, 102.5 kilos.
just taking a look at the forecasted dots and the current dots, there's going to be some very close head-to-head battles as we complete these second attempts and go into third attempts.
That attempt moved pretty well, and she's going to get 3 white lights for it. It kind of had to shimmy up. But as we watch the replay, there's going to be no downward movement on it. Just a little bit of oscillation.
Yeah.
130 kilos on the bar now. Second attempt for Robert Evans, also up 5 kilos from his opener. It's a start command. It's the rat command. And he's going to get the lift 3 white lights. Up here in the booth, we weren't sure about the elbows, but we're not the ones on the platform.
And all 3 referees threw white lights, so they didn't see any infractions, and they got a better view than we do.
160 kilos on the bar now for Maxwell Mercer, his second attempt. Up just 5 kilos from his opener. Clock's getting low, down to 10 seconds now. Bar's just out of the rack. 3 seconds on the clock to get a start. Control to the chest. Some oscillation there. He's able to lock it out.
Good fight. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Referees on the platform would agree. 3 white lights. $167.5 kilos being loaded up now. Second attempt for Natalie Richardson. Up 7.5 kilos from her opener. Over 2 times body weight. That looked better than her opener did.
That gives Natalie a dots right now of 156, a little bit over. If Alicia Webb is successful with her attempt here, hers will be at 152.
So there is a little bit of battle right now for the 1 and 2 spot, and it's just going to be, right now it looks like if Natalie doesn't miss, she's going to run away with it.
Now, one thing to have to remember for bench only is that, unlike in full power when you can't change your bench attempts, you can change your third attempt bench twice. So they're going to be fighting for position and fighting for placing and playing that chess match with their third attempt benches as well, potentially.
Hoping we get to see some of that. Last night, there wasn't as much of that jockeying for position with attempt changes as I had hoped. Hefty jump for Alicia, up 10 kilos to 175.
There's going to be a little bit of a battle there, I think.
Yeah.
Alicia's got quite a bit left, and she's very experienced. She's got a very experienced coach. It's going to be a good fight.
She went up 10 from her opener to her second. I wouldn't be against seeing another 10 there.
Based on how that moved, I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm sure her coach, Josh Rohr, is going to be making some moves depending on what he sees Natalie doing.
Whatever it is that they submit now, it might change. And we have 210 on the bar, 463. A retake from the opener for Carlo Melendez.
Looks like Alicia only went out 5 for now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that change.
That'll be entirely dependent on what Natalie Richardson does.
Although that would give her the edge on Natalie if Natalie misses. That one was closer than the previous for Carlo, but he's really going to have to dial it in for his third.
He's just misdriven it by just a hair. $210 stays on the bar. Second attempt for Gary Pamplin, up 12.5 kilos. Speedy second attempt for Gary.
Not much of a difference from his first, from what I remember correctly.
No. Incredibly fast for a second. If I had to guess, he's probably going to throw on another 10.
Yeah, he went 12.5 the first time, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that.
$210 is still on the bar. Second attempt for Brian Scott. Looks pretty easy. 3 white lights for Brian. One of the few equipped benchers that we see with a slightly narrower grip. He's more of a close gripper. Thank you. 222.5 on the bar. Second attempt, Alex Smith.
About 30 seconds left on the clock for Alex.
Gets the start command from Heather. Fantastic.
Had to fight it a little, but it looked pretty solid. Now with Tim Anderson, these last 3 lifters, Tim Anderson, Nick Benarakis, and Preston Savoy. Right now, Tim has a DOTS of 157.969. Nick has a DOTS of 160.524, and Preston has a DOTS of 160.952.
Is that forecasted?
That is their current DOTS. Their forecast is 162, 168, 168. But don't count Tim out. He's very experienced. He's going to be implementing whatever strategy he thinks he needs to get the edge on the others.
And very quickly, we are up over 600 pounds. 272.5 for Tim. Just a 7.5 kilo jump. But the way his opener moved, I think he's got this one. Of course, equipment is a little bit of a different beast.
He had it.
Moved pretty fast. Honestly, I think it might have moved a little bit quicker than his opener
thought
did.
so. And that puts him up to 162.439, which, depending on what Nick and Preston do, could give Tim the lead if they're unsuccessful. It's not a bad strategy to make sure that you do the minimum to put yourself in the lead, force your competitors to be under pressure, make their lifts, see what happens.
272.5 is staying on the bar. Second attempt for Nick Benarakis, up 12.5 kilos. 30 seconds left on the clock for him to get the start command.
I wonder if it looked like they might have made him adjust his wrist straps. They might have been too high or too low, or if he was just taking his time. I'm not sure.
Hopefully he's not having to rush his setup here.
He's getting down. He's about 10 seconds. He's going to be cutting it close.
Getting the lift off. Gets the start command just after the time. So he's going to get no lift on that 2-1.
The sides must have thrown that because he timed out. So even though the chief referee gave the start command, they threw that because he timed out, which is an accurate call. The chief referee, usually when there's a timeout, if they notice it and they realize it, we'll just call rack. We'll say time, call rack. In that scenario, she gave the command, sides recognize the timeout, no lift.
There's a lot of times where we're so focused on trying to get them the start command, maybe we forget about the clock for a brief second or two.
Yeah, and as chief referee, it's very hard to watch the side referee's hands, the lifter to make sure you think they're in the start position, and the clock at the same time, so it's not an easy thing to do.
Preston Savoy Jr. out 277.5 kilos for his second attempt. Controlled. Gets the touch and the press. Drives it through that midpoint.
Should be a good lift. It is. It's a
Three
little tough
lights.
for the lockout there, but nothing he can't handle. Now, with Nick's miss, that puts Tim into second place right now. So it could be him and Preston, depending on what Nick decides to do with his third.
And already we are into the third and final attempts for this morning session.
So looking at what Tim put in 300 kilos. My guess is that's a bluff, because it's going to give him the last attempt to bench unless Preston goes above that. You can wait and see what everybody does and then put in what he needs to put in.
Does Tim have a lot advantage over Preston?
He does not. Preston has the higher lot number. So I'm assuming he's banking on Preston putting in a lower attempt.
47.5 kilos. Third and final attempt for Joy Mercer. 105. Gets the rack command a little bit slower through the middle. 3 white lights, though. That is a good lift. Joy will go 3 for 3 on the day.
I do want to note in the Preston-Tim battle, Preston very wisely put in 302.5 to be above Tim. So it's going to be who's going to blink first.
Someone's got to make a change off that.
Yes, somebody's going to have to make a change first. It's just who's going to do it. Or risk being trapped in a way you can't potentially execute, and then the other person doesn't even have to take their third.
We have a 5 kilo jump for the third attempt. Joy Black, 77.5 kilos, 171 pounds. Gets the start command with about 20 seconds left. Drives through any sticking point that she had. Does a pretty good attempt. I think she may have even had 2.5 kilos left in the tank, but going 3 for 3 on the day, I believe with 9 white lights, it's going to be a good day for Joy. Another 5 kilo jump, this time for Elizabeth Richardson, up at 107.5. 237 pounds. Controlled touch. Oh. Just got the bar out over her face. I think she was strong enough to press that. Just a little bit of a misgroove threw her out. The speed off the chest while looking at the replay. Yeah, the bar just got too high. Another 5 kilo jump, this time the third attempt for Robert Evans. 135 kilos, 297 pounds.
Didn't quite see what the call was. He got 3 yellows there. I'm not sure if he jumped a command. Several different things it could be. It doesn't look like he went to the jury to ask the reason for failure.
$165 kilos, 363. Third and final attempt for Maxwell Mercer. Down to about 15 seconds to get the start command for Max. Gets the start. Locks it out a little bit slowly, but does get the lockout. 3 white lights there for Max.
Very good attempt for Max. Looks like we have Natalie coming up here, so this is our head-to-head battle between Natalie and Alicia. Currently, Natalie has a 156.812 dots. Alicia's at 152. If Natalie makes this, she'll be up at 166. If she misses this, obviously she'll stay at 156. Alicia's current attempt is the minimum she would need to beat Natalie if Natalie's unsuccessful. I imagine if she's successful, Joshua will put an attempt change, try to go for the win.
And this 10-kilo jump makes sense to me. The way her second moved, I for sure thought this was going to be in the bag. A little sticky getting to the chest, but the press was quick.
Looked like a solid attempt. We'll see if Joshua puts in a change. I do see him over there in the staging area, so he may just be leaving that third. However, it's possibly as somebody assisting him to help it out, and he is pointing to the board like there's a change. So I do think an attempt change may have been submitted. Yes, there is an attempt change up on the board. He must have another coach helping him that submitted that change after Natalie was successful.
Got to be going for the win, right?
So we put in 191, which must be an open record in bench only. 191 would put Alicia's dots at 166.456, which will give her the edge on Natalie, whose dots is 166.174.
And this is where that experience comes in, because how often have you heard of someone going 10-kilo jump into a 16-kilo jump to try and go for the win?
Alicia's very experienced. She's done this a long time. Josh has done this a long time. Put in exactly what he needs with this world record attempt to give her a win, if successful, by about 0.3 dots points. This is a world record attempt for Alicia.
191 kilos, 421 pounds, a world record equipped bench attempt, Alicia Webb.
And I will say her second moved great. And she's experienced in the shirt, she's experienced in equipment, she knows what she needs to do. And I don't think Josh would have loaded it if he thought it was out of the question.
Just about 30 seconds on the clock. Alicia's getting settled in. Gets the lift.
Lost.
I'd be curious to see where that would have been if it wasn't a little bit of a misgroove on the chest.
Yeah, you can see right as she gets close to the touch, just got a little funky. That's a scientific term.
I think she just touched a little bit too high. Maybe wanted to touch a little bit lower on her chest.
So Natalie will take home first place in the open. Alicia, second place. So Carlo needs this lift to stay in the meet. He actually went up by 10 kilos from his first and second, which is a little unconventional, but Carlo is pretty experienced. So maybe he thinks it'll help him touch easier. Maybe he's just going for broke. We'll see.
Hindsight's always 20/20, so if he makes this, it's going to look like a great move. Gets the start. Well, he was able to get the touch, but it didn't move off the chest. Unfortunately, that's going to be a no lift for Carlo. Does not record a successful attempt on the day. 225 on the bar, 496 pounds. Third and final attempt for Brian Scott. Up 15 kilos from his second. The big jumps are a little bit more fun in my eyes. No lift there for Brian. He got the press command, but he might have jumped it a little bit, but isn't able to press it out. Pretty big jump here for Gary Pamplin. 227.5, 501, 17.5 kilo increase from his second, which I thought moved better than his opener did. Gets the lift off. Just a touch too heavy on the day.
So I do want to know with Alex coming up here. I was watching the board, and I believe I saw Mike Hassenbreck put a change in. This attempt will temporarily put Alex into third place if he is successful. Now, why that's important is because Nick, who timed out on his second, put in what he would need to win. And if Nick is unsuccessful, then it would knock him into fourth if Alex is to make this.
The way things are going to shake up here in just the next few attempts is quite exciting.
It is a pretty sizable jump for Alex. So maybe he
22
usually
and a
does
half.
that. Maybe he was, sandbagging the second intentionally.
This is kind of fun with the equip stuff. You don't normally see someone go 7.5, 22.5.
No, on any lift really, but
Doesn't look shaky. Not
Close.
quite able to lock it out.
very close.
I like the attempt, though, trying to put himself on the podium.
See Mike Haffenbreck as he walked up, just kind of went, we tried it.
Yeah, it
Which
was
I don't
pretty
blame
close.
him. When you're in this scenario, why not do it, especially when you see somebody potentially taking a big risk like Nick is here. Now, he was plenty strong for a second when he timed out, but who knows what could happen on the third. We've seen that already.
280 kilos on the bar for Nick Benarakis. 7.5 kilo increase from that missed second attempt. Trying to take the lead with just two lifters behind him.
Yeah, this will put him into first temporarily if he is successful and if the others two were to miss.
This is where that chess match comes in, because depending on how this goes, we're going to see attempt changes no matter what for Tim and for Preston.
And when you're doing that, you're jockeying for first. If you do that and you miss, it could set you back into third potentially in a scenario where you are unsuccessful in an attempt.
Isn't able to get it all the way pressed out. No lift for Nick.
Thought he might have been able to bust through that last sticking point. He looked like he got through it and almost stopped again. It wasn't quite there. So
Might have just been some fatigue setting in.
So Tim has 300 on the bar still. There is an attempt change, it looks like, in progress. I imagine that's for Tim. Because Preston has an attempt that would put him far above what he would need to win. Unless Tim is taking this in Preston change, which could very well be the case as well. No, Tim dropped to 285. If successful, this would put Tim at a 169.891. Preston's current DOT is 168.545.
So the next two lifts are really just going to determine first and second in this competition.
Yes, this, if successful, will put Tim into first place.
285 kilos, 628 pounds. Third attempt for Tim Anderson, trying to take the lead from Preston Savoy Jr. A veteran of the sport. Tim looks pretty locked in.
He has, it looks like.
That's one of the best third attempts we've seen this whole time.
Successful lift for Tim. He is in first for now. Preston looks like he has dropped his third to 287. It was up at 302.5. This is the lowest he can go to beat Tim based on Tim's third attempt. He could have, I think, dropped down to 285 based on lot number. However, I don't know based on calculations where that would put his dots if he was successful with that lift. So we'll see.
So 287.5, 633, going for the win. Preston Savoy Jr. gets his start command. Control to the chest.
Looks like he might have it.
I think he does. 3 white lights there
Good
for Preston.
lift for Preston.
Silences the crowd as he walks off with the victory. He had to battle a little bit there through the midpoint, but 3 white lights. And that is going to conclude the morning session equipped bench. Going over some of our winners right here. In the equipped master, Alicia Webb gets the win. In the open, Natalie Richardson. In the men's equipped master bench, Tim Anderson beat Gary Pamplin. And in the open, Preston Savoy comes away with the win over Tim. So with the session concluded, awards are going to be in just a little bit. We're going to sign off. Don't forget to come back at 1:30 for the equipped full power finals. I'm Alex Walters with Dane Roach. See you in a few hours.
Yeah, so they called me, like, Junior, where are you? He's like, what? I'm in bed. What do you mean, where am I? And they're like, I'm just going back and forth a little bit. They're like, yeah, like, you are big. I'm like, how am I your fucking kid? I'm not supposed to go on this thing. Like, man, just take you to a football game.
Sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I got the car. Did you come out all right?
Like certain spots are really dark, you know, darker settings. And then like it's
The new guy was coming out.
when they're back, I got it. I did 2. I just remember how the first one was. The second one was good, I know.
Exactly. Because we can. Yes. Yeah.
That's kind of low. So they're probably like, this one I had about it.
That was one. Oh, that's good.
That's what I did so quick. But the other one, that was the first one.
Okay. I love it. Thank you. So do I have to talk to Kevin to get them?
Oh yeah.
To lighten them up?
Oh yeah.
Kevin, after this competition is over, will you be able to send me some of the pictures? We're just going to look right.
I thought, well, it says 45, but I thought y'all were going slow today. Oh.
Ready, Wes?
44's crazy. We had a lot left.
Yeah, I'll catch you boys in 2 hours.
Huh? How many people working today? I think we had less yesterday though, but they made it go slow. How many people in this flight is? 14. Oh, this is bad. Merry Christmas. I get back to the family.
Nice of you to come here for 48 minutes.
That's how I like to volunteer.
Where do you live from?
I live about 45 minutes.
45 minutes you took?
Yeah, I live out in the
drove
country.
in the car longer than it took the time you worked here.
Yeah, that's part of living out in the country.
That's a real commitment.
It's very, very peaceful. I love it.
Do you?
Wouldn't change it for the world.
It's
I don't
nice.
miss the city.
Are you good? I'm happy to hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and I get to raise my son out.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Quick question. Are you working for the same company, but just?
I still work remote. I'm doing
You
a few
always
things.
worked remote,
I'm
right?
doing a few things.
Oh, you got a few
I got
balls
a
in
lot
the
of
air,
iron,
huh?
yeah.
You jumped
It's
to a
good.
few things. And are they all remote?
They're all remote. One of my businesses is picking back up. I work full time and I have a business. You know, trying to be financially independent one day. So I'm working my ass off.
You'll be well.
Yeah.
But this job, I ain't gonna make it too fast.
No, you lose money every time.
Yeah.
Unless I'm the new director, at least you can maybe break even.
You got that right. You got that. All right.
I'll give Megan your back.
Please tell her hello. Another what? It's the only one I don't have one on, you're right. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Wes. Check. Can you turn this up and keep the music off? I can hardly hear myself. Check. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's start giving out the awards. Everybody here is in the money because they are all pros here in the Pro Series final. Women's equip, masters, bench press. In the bronze medal position, come on up, Joy Black. Joy receives a check for $150. The silver medal, Elizabeth Richardson, receiving a check for $200. And in first place, Alicia Webb. Woo! Receiving a check for $500 from USA Powerlifting. Give these three ladies a round of applause.
Congratulations.
Yeah!
You lead, I follow. That's how it is. It's okay. Good job, by the way. Thank you, nice.
Women's equipped open category. The bronze medal winner receiving a check for $150. Joy for $500. Joy Mercer, $500 check from USA Powerlifting. Joy Mercer. What do you think? Are we testing? Oh, he's good. Nice boots. And in first place, receiving a check for $2,500 from USA Powerlifting, Natalie Richardson. Natalie has an undergraduate degree in chemical engineering, and she got her MBA yesterday. Congratulations to the three ladies. Thank you, ladies. Oh, love you. Hey, I know I keep fucking.
It's okay. It's
Say it
okay.
one more time. Men's equipped masters bench press. The bronze medal winner setting 2 state records. Big round of applause, Maxwell Mercer. Receiving a check from USA Powerlifting for $150. This is the closest you're going to get to Santa Claus today. And the silver medal receiving a check for $200, Gary Pamplin. And in first place, receiving a check for $500 from USA Powerlifting, Tim Anderson! Hold it down a little so we can see the medal. No, you're all right. You two come up a little. Come up. Good, right there. Give them another round of applause. Men's equipped open category. Bronze medal winner receiving a check for $500. Nick Benarakis.
Him or you?
Silver medal receiving a check for $1,000. Tim Anderson. And in first place, receiving a check for $2,500 from USA Powerlifting, Preston Savoy PJ Jr. Give the boys another round of applause. All right, then. You want to get some photos right over there by Kathy Marchstein on the right-hand side in front of the banner. You can get some photos, audience members, with your lifters. Competition starts in 2 hours from now at about 1 o'clock.